soon as I go to start filming, he starts drinking water. Are you done now? Thank you. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Christina, and today I'm doing something I didn't think I was gonna do, but a lot of you guys seem to be interested in hearing about this, so today I am here to tell you my engagement story. So I announced a few videos back that I recently got engaged, and today is actually Friday the 18th, which is exactly a month since I got engaged. So it's been a month of still not really feeling like it's real. It's like I'm speechless. I was speechless when it happened. I'm still speechless now because I didn't expect it at all. It was a total surprise, and I really was kind of in shock for the last month, so I really didn't think I was going to tell this story, but since a lot of you guys want to hear it, and I feel like this will be fun for me to look back on, and I feel like since today marks the month anniversary, is that a thing? The month anniversary of us getting engaged, I figured why not talk about it and tell you my engagement story, because it's a good one. Now before we get started, if you are excited to hear this story, make sure to hit that like button, and also if you are not subscribed yet, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button, because I do upload on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, and I don't want you guys to miss out on any of my content. Now, without further ado, let's get into telling this story. So if you have been a subscriber for a while, or a follower, watcher for a while, then you know that me and my boyfriend live together. We've been dating for a while, and we've previously talked about getting married a couple years from now. A lot of you guys know that we're moving to California in September because my boyfriend, my fiance, is in the Navy, and he is changing duty station, so we are moving over to California in September because that's where we gotta go. So we had talked about getting married after moving to California. He wanted to make sure that this moving around thing would be okay with me and that I was gonna adjust well, because he just wanted to make sure that if I wanted to commit to him, I also have to commit to his job in a way. Military spouses go through a lot, so I understand where he was coming from. So in my mindset, I was like, okay, I don't have to worry about getting engaged or weddings or anything like that for like a couple more years, and that's totally fine with me because I'm in no rush to get married, was my mindset. You guys know me and my fiance, we travel a lot, and for the last few trips, especially the trip to Orlando for Christmas, I had it in my head, I don't know why, but I thought he was going to propose to me then, because you guys know I'm a Harry Potter fan, and I was like, it would be the perfect place to get engaged at, and it would be magical. It would be like extra magical because there's magic. And I had it in my head, so I didn't tell anyone, but a lot of people that come into the coffee shop that I work in, a lot of the regulars were like, oh yeah, he's gonna propose then, he's gonna propose then. And then if you watch those vlogs, then you know, and obviously you're watching this, you know that didn't happen. So I was actually a little disappointed after that trip, because I was like, man, that would have been the perfect proposal. And I was like, he must just be sticking to his word. Like, I don't need to worry about this for a couple years. I don't need to think about it. I don't need it in my head. So after Christmas, we planned another trip, because this whole front of this year, like this first 6 months, is a little crazy for us. We have to start looking at houses. We have to start moving. So we planned a trip to Asheville, North Carolina. If you've never been to the Blue Ridge Mountains, go. They're beautiful. So we planned a trip to Asheville because I love the mountains. We currently live at the beach, but I'm definitely more a mountain person. So I even told him, I was like, I'm gonna need a trip. I'm gonna need a vacation. So we planned the trip to Asheville in January. And of course, because I had just gotten over my upset from December, I was not thinking anything would happen. I was like, this is just a little vacation. This is just for us to get away, go hiking, and just have our last little good vacation before all of the super craziness, all of the packing, all of the moving, before all of that begins. So I honestly wasn't thinking anything. So we get to Asheville. Our hotel was amazing. We stayed at the Omni Grove Inn, and I've never stayed in a place nicer. Like, literally have never stayed in a place nicer. We had a spa day, we went hiking, we had breakfast overlooking the mountains. It was stunning, and again, not thinking anything at all. So our last day in Asheville, we check out of our hotel, we are going hiking, and I was determined to go to Craggy Gardens. Again, a beautiful hike, flowers everywhere. It's just a really, really pretty hike, and I really wanted to do it. So that was the plan. We put it in our GPS, we're gonna go to Craggy, we're gonna hike Craggy. We start driving, and we get probably about 10 minutes away from it, and the roads are blocked. We're in the middle of the street, I'm panicking, he's getting annoyed because I can't seem to work the GPS fast enough, and we're just getting really flustered. So we eventually just look up another hiking trail that's close to us, and we go hike Graybeard Mountain, which on the little like page was like, this is, you know, a medium to moderate hike. So we're like, moderate, we've hiked before, moderate's okay, we can do this. This is not a moderate hike. This is an intermediate hike. There is a straight mile, 1 straight mile of just going straight upstairs, basically. It was like doing the Stairmaster on level 10 for 30 minutes straight. I was so tired, I was sweaty. I, despite putting on sunscreen twice, was still getting sunburnt. So like, I'm miserable, I'm really hot, my face is red, and when I work out, my hands and my knees turn red. Awful, I hate it. But there was a waterfall, which is what I wanted to see. I wanted to go see a waterfall. I was determined to see a waterfall, and we finally get to this waterfall. It was about 2 hours into the hike. I'm sunburnt, sweaty, tired, and really cranky. And we get to this waterfall, and I'm just so excited to see it that I immediately am like, I'm just gonna go take pictures. And he was like, okay. And he stood back. Now he always has his backpack with him when we go hiking. So he starts taking his backpack off. He's like, I'm gonna get some water, you go take your pictures. And I was like, okay. So I walk off to the waterfall. I have some pictures. I'll post those up right now. I'm taking pictures of the waterfall, and I'm just trying to enjoy it. I'm trying to calm down and like catch my breath again. And I turn around and I look at him. He's just standing there. So I take some pictures of him, and then I look back down at my camera and I start walking away from the waterfall and walking towards him. I was like, hey, you want to see these pictures I just took? And he was like, yeah, of course I do. So I'm walking up to him. I'm trying to get back to the beginning, the first pictures I ended up taking. So I'm walking back to him, and I walk up to him. I see him standing there, and I go to turn my camera to face him so he can look at it. And as I turn my head to look back at him, he's not standing anymore. He's like disappeared. So I'm like, what the heck? And I look down, my eyes start drifting down, and there he is on his knee. I gotta take a drink of my coffee. Retelling the story is just as dramatic as when it happened. My first response is I start crying and I start questioning his motives. Because that's what you do, right? So I'm crying and I'm asking, are you serious? Are you serious? Is this real? Is this real? Are you serious? So that is my string of statements for what feels like an eternity, but it was probably only like 5 seconds. And honestly, it's such a blur. I was crying, and it was pretty crying, I promise. It was like, wasn't ugly crying. There was just like silent tears just falling down my face, and I'm just like in shock. And he said some beautiful things. I honestly don't remember what he said. My head was like 100,000 miles per hour because I thought I was dreaming, and I was like, I'll wake up eventually. This whole day I'm just dreaming, I'm sleeping. Then he asks me to marry him. I stand there and I'm still like, wait, are you serious? And he was like, in his head he's probably thinking, no, I just have this ring for no reason at all. I'm just standing here. And I just look at him, and then it like dawns on me that, you know, this is actually happening. And I said, duh, yeah, of course. Yes, yeah. I didn't say it exactly like that, but I pretty much said, duh, yeah, of course, yes. Just a string of incoherent babbling because I'm still in shock trying to process it. So I'm still crying, and I think I went to go kiss him, and like we're trying to celebrate and have our moment because we're the only ones over at this waterfall, and we hadn't seen a soul the whole time hiking. And we hear a voice from behind us, and it's an older gentleman, and he's like, excuse me, I don't know what you kids are doing here, but you're trespassing. This is a private path. And in my head I'm going, great, we're trespassing, great. This is what our engagement story is, great. They get up closer, and the guy has his little walking stick, and he's hiking. I'm thinking, wait a minute, is this his private path? He gets up to us and he goes, I'm just kidding you guys, this isn't a private path. And his wife's like behind him, like yelling at him because I think she knew what was happening, and this man was just totally oblivious to the fact that we had just gotten engaged. I'm still crying. My fiance is trying to like talk to this man because this man is now showing him the map of the hike trail, and he's trying to tell him a better path to take, completely oblivious to the fact that I'm over there holding a ring box and the ring is on my finger and I'm crying doing this. Completely oblivious to it. We eventually sneak away from this man who is trying to give us, or who was trying to get us to go on a different path than what we were gonna do. So we like sneak away from this man and like we're walking back up the mountain, we're finishing our hike, and he starts telling me all about the rings. Now that was the engagement part of it. The best part about this story, I think, is the backstory he gave me after we got away from the man who told us we were trespassing when we weren't. So he starts telling me, now remember, we went on that trip in December and I thought I was getting a ring. Ironically, in his head, he was already thinking about it in December. He just didn't have the ring yet. So my ring is a pear-shaped halo. I knew I really liked pear-shaped like diamonds. I think they're really, really pretty, really classic and different. So I really like this shape. Back in December, he had like he had days during holiday season where he had, you know, he got out of work a little earlier. So this sneaky man started going to the jewelry store in December to design this ring. This ring is a custom designed ring, and like he picked it out. He tried to pick out like the clarity of the diamond. He was very hands-on in this whole experience, and this sneaky man knew this when we were in Orlando for Christmas. He had already planned it. While we were in Orlando, he told his brother it was gonna happen. So his brother has known since December that this was gonna happen. And this sneaky man went a step further. Not only did he design this ring completely without me knowing, he got the ring, I think, in January. Like, it was finished being made in like January or February. So he's had the ring, and sneakily enough, he's been hiding it in our house in an area that I usually clean, but apparently he knows I don't clean very well, because if I had moved everything and like thoroughly dusted it like I should have been, I would have seen this, but he knows me too well. I don't clean that well. When I dust the front of this shelf, and that's about it. But he had hid this ring since January, like on a shelf behind a bunch of paperwork that like I try to dust around so I don't have to like fully dust it. And he hid the ring behind there with all of the paperwork and all of the cleaning, everything. Everything was just hidden in this little cubby. He also told my sister in January, so my sister has known for months, and I don't know how she kept a secret. Brittany, I see you. Don't know how she kept a secret, but better yet, this sneaky man actually went out of the way to ask my parents for their blessing, which is really traditional. And for me, I'm not so much into the traditions of a lot of weddings, but for some reason that was really important to me. He actually got both of my parents' blessings. Again, really sneaky, because I don't know when he ever called them. He just was sneaky, and I had no idea. Like, how did I have no idea? But I guess I just had it so much in my head that it wasn't gonna happen for a while that I didn't notice the weird stuff. The only time that I was almost on to him, he actually caught in time for me to not, you know, catch on. But when we were in Orlando, I think we were on our way back from the airport, he had his phone. We were using his phone to watch like a video in the car, and he gets a text message. So he was like, hey, can you check and see what that is? So I open it and I start reading it, and he was like, oh, I'll take that. That's a work thing. Don't worry about it. But it was like a bunch of numbers and stuff, and it was like the serial number for my diamond, I think, something like that. And the jeweler, it was from the jeweler. If I had kept reading it, I probably would have gotten down to the part where it was like, blah, 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 jewelry store. But luckily he caught it in time. But that was the only weird thing, and I was like, it must be a weird thing for work. I didn't even think about that at all, but like I almost caught him in that one moment. He was even planning it a little different. It did not happen the way he wanted it to. I was supposed to bring my camera tripod, and he wanted to have gotten a picture of it as it happened, but of course when we left, we're about halfway on the road, and I look at him and I was like, I forgot my tripod. And looking back on it now, I can remember seeing a look of disappointment in his face, but like, I was like, it's not essential, it's fine. It's not like we forgot like underwear, you know? Like, I wasn't thinking anything of it. I was like, it's fine. We don't take that many pictures anyways. And he didn't, so after I left the tripod, he didn't really know where he was gonna ask me. He said there was a moment in the hotel room he almost asked me. We had a spa day, and he was like, I thought about doing it there, but like, you can't bring anything with you. So he was like, I didn't want you to have your ring like in the sauna. So he's like, and I couldn't put it in my pocket because like obviously we're walking around in robes. So he's like, so it didn't work out there. There was the last night before we went hiking, we got room service. He thought about like setting it up on room service, and then he panicked and didn't do it then. And then when we didn't get to go to Craggy, he was like, I just didn't know what to do because Craggy has all these beautiful like vistas and waterfalls and flowers everywhere. He was like, and we ended up doing this other trail that was like way harder than it was supposed to be. It's funny to me, it never works out the way people want it to, but like I would not change a single thing about it. Like I'm still so much in shock, and I'm still like so blown away by like how much planning he did, how much like he really thought about me in this whole situation, and it made saying yes like really easy, and it was beautiful and funny, and I wouldn't change it for anything. He's my best friend, and I'm gonna start crying if I keep talking about it. So that, guys, is my entire engagement story. That is a little bit about the ring, about the planning that went behind it. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about it. I know it's literally not the most perfect, romantic, beautiful story in the world. It definitely had its ups and downs, and it had things that went wrong, but like I said, I wouldn't change it for anything. I mean, that's how life is, right? Like nothing is perfect, nothing goes the way you want it to, but as long as you look back on it and you're like, no, that's good times right there, then I think that's all that matters. And I'm excited to see where we go with our relationship. We don't know when we're doing a wedding. I think I've mentioned that in other videos. We don't know where we're getting married. We don't know how many people we want to be there. We don't know right now because we have to move. Our family is all over the place. Our friends are all over the place. We just don't know. It may just be a Vegas wedding. Who knows? We don't know what we're doing, but I'm not too big on weddings. I would rather spend a lot more money on like a down payment on a house, or spend that money on a really cool vacation to like somewhere tropical, rather than spend a lot on a wedding. So we'll figure it out. I will keep you guys updated. If you want to hear more about my wedding planning, if I ever start getting around to wedding planning, just let me know in the comments down below. And I think, guys, that's going to be it from me today. I hope you guys are all doing well. Thank you for listening to me ramble, and I hope to see all of you guys in my next video. Bye!